everybody, and welcome to No Room for Comfort podcast. And I am your host, Jesse Waterhouse, and I'd like to thank everyone for being here this evening. If you're watching this podcast right now, I am live on YouTube and Twitch, so check it out. I also have a Discord channel if anyone wants to write in on that channel. You can also find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So please like, subscribe, and share. Let's get into it for today's topic. So today I chose the topic of developing a passion, or acquiring a passion, or just simply having a passion. So, what does that mean? Well, what it means for me is finding something in your life that you'll work towards that sort of doesn't feel like work, at least in my mind. So, for me, my biggest passion that I've had throughout my life was music. It was writing music, producing music, playing music live, the creative freedom that comes along with it, and just engaging with the people that come to every show, playing on live stages, all of those things, anything that encompasses it, and helping other people in collaborations and other things like that. So it's been a great passion for me in my life. And how did I stumble across it? Well, I started playing guitar at a younger age, and when I started developing the skills while playing guitar, something grew inside of me. Like, really enjoyed every aspect of it. I enjoyed how it was calming, how it relieved stress and anxiety, how it challenged me, to think and to grow and to learn. And it also helped me meet new people and network with people and do amazing things with other people. And it first started out as a hobby, and even before that, before even getting into it myself with a group of other people, I would go to a lot of concerts and I would see how other artists would perform, and it just the energy and just the connection that other artists had really helped me come into my own as far as wanting to have a passion or feeling like this is something that I want to work for, work towards, live, eat, sleep, and breathe. And it has become a big part of my life. And I believe it's important for everyone out there, whether you're just a hardworking person earning a paycheck, looking to earn a paycheck, or you're just somebody that's looking for something new. Where could a passion come from? And that's where I think a lot of us tend to get lost. So, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, you sit down and you kind of reflect on things in your life about, okay, so I'm working my job. If you're working a job and that is your passion, that's absolutely fantastic. But the way school goes, it almost doesn't prepare people or adolescents growing up for a life where you're going to be working in a field that is your passion. But if you sit down and you think about it and you reflect on it and you think, this is what I really love, enjoy doing, this is what I really gravitate towards. Every time I go to do something, it's like, oh, I'm thinking about this. I'm wanting to do this. Well, that's your passion. That's what you enjoy doing. That's what you love doing. And it's a very great thing to chase, even if it's just going to be a hobby for you. Passions can be hobbies. You could be a kayaker, a hiker, a biker, whatever you want to be, whatever you really enjoy. I think it's very important for everyone to find that thing and to actually pursue it, to have that in their lives. Because if you are there without a passion in your life, it's going to be very difficult for you to really have a sense of purpose otherwise. So let's say you're the type of person who's working a job and you've been working that job a while. Excuse me one second here. Okay, that's a little better. Just had to adjust my mic volume there. But if you're working a day job and it doesn't feel, it's kind of mundane. You're doing it to collect a paycheck. You're doing it because, your family is dependent upon you to do to do just that, that's very understandable for anyone, including myself. We all have to put food on the table. We all have to make a living. We all have to live in a domicile. There are these necessities. There are these needs. But if your entire life encompasses just that, if you're just doing that and nothing else, you will find yourself in a place where you are feeling burnt out, where you're feeling like this isn't really living. This is just existing, right? And without something to drive you towards your purpose or what your calling is, you can get stuck in a corner. Your mind can get stuck in a place where it doesn't feel natural for you, just to be in that place, in that existence. So if you are if you're a person that is kind of in that place, but you don't know exactly what you want to do, I think what I would try and do is just think about it a little bit. Think about some of the things that you enjoy, and see if one of those things is something that you could try doing yourself. Like for me, I like listening to music, so I decided I would try playing music. I would try writing music. I would try producing music. If you're a person who likes to read, well, it's a great hobby. I love to read as well. But maybe you would like, the way that those books impact you. Maybe it might be a very nice thing for you to try writing something. And that's actually something that I enjoy doing too. It comes along with the territory of writing music. Lyrically, writing is encompassed in it. So maybe that's something that you might take up. Now, there aren't any definite ways to acquire a passion in my mind. So, for me, it simply has to be a trial and error thing. But some of the ways you can think about bringing passion into your life is by thinking about, what are you doing in your life now that you do enjoy? What are you doing in your life now that you don't enjoy? Separating those things, trying to get rid of as many of the things that you don't enjoy as possible, and bring in something that you do enjoy. And many of those things can be very healthy passions. Some of those can help you work towards goals that help you develop a business. Maybe you love taking photographs. Maybe you could be a photographer. Maybe you were the person in the group of friends that always is the one that puts everything together, and you love the planning, and you love figuring out where everyone's going to be going that day and what they're going to be doing, and you just love seeing smiles on people's faces. Maybe you could be an event planner. Maybe that could be something that you do. Maybe you love dirt bike racing, so maybe you want to get into that, or help other people get into that, or help work on their stuff, or whatever it is. There are many different avenues. So if there's something that you can think about that you really enjoy, and you can branch off of those things, not only could a passion just turn into a hobby that you really love doing, that fills up your space as far as purpose, but it also could be monetary for you. It could be good for you in a business sense. And those are some things that you can think about as far as acquiring a passion and developing it and going with it. And sometimes, it takes a little bit of patience too. You might initially feel a high level of energy with doing it, and then you run across some snags, or you find barriers in your way. And then all of a sudden the discouragement, it gets you setting it down. Well, every time I felt that, it tended to be a breakthrough point for me. So every time that I would have a tough time writing out a riff for a song, or writing some words for a song, I would take a step back for a moment and then come back to it. And once I came back to it, it almost seemed like I opened up floodgates towards whatever it was that I was doing. And I also thought about the big picture right out of the gate. And it's great to allow that big picture to just kind of levitate in the reveries of your mind. But when it boils down to it, you need to break everything up into small steps so that it doesn't seem out of reach for you. Because as long as you have those ideas in mind and you're thinking towards them, you're going to naturally start getting there. You're going to build a framework and a pathway towards actually making it to that place. And it's happened with me with things that I've noticed. And setting it down too early will put you in a place to where you're never going to be able to find out where it goes. And if you do that, then you have the possibility of that passion's flame burning out on you. And when it comes to passion, you do need to have a level of discipline that comes with continuing it on, but it isn't as heavy as if it were something that you knew you needed to do and decided to go for it, and it was difficult the entire time along the way. Because those things require a much higher level of discipline in order to accomplish than it would be for something that comes naturally blissful for you. Another thing about passion is that it helps create a level of peace in your world, a level of peace in your life. Why does it do that? Well, you can look at it in several different lights. You can look at the people that are around you, that see you enjoying your passion. They see you happy and they feel proud for what you're doing, no matter what it is. If they truly love you and they're truly there for you, they are going to feel that way about you. They're going to feel that way about what you enjoy doing. On the flip side, your passion can encompass all of that for those people that feel proud and feel happy that you're doing what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing. And if you are passionate about it, people that are involved with your passion are going to be happier as well, because you're already going to have that mindset of wanting to make it the best it can possibly be. And the end result is going to allow other people to be happy about it being as good as it can possibly be. So with that being said, take a little bit of time tonight and sit down and think about what it is that you are really passionate about. One thing I think all people should be passionate about is their family and their friends around them. Because without those people, your life tends to get very lonely. You tend to feel stuck and by yourself. And when you're by yourself and you're stuck and you're trying to navigate life, it becomes very difficult the longer it goes on. At first, that independence may seem beautiful, may seem, okay, this is something that's helping me grow. But you will actually grow with other people around you. You'll actually grow with sharing that passion with other people. You'll actually grow with people sharing their passions with you. And what's really cool is when you do meet somebody with other passions and you actually, it's just absolutely vibrant, they open up to a world of knowledge about whatever they're passionate about, and they share it with you. And that also becomes a beautiful thing, because then you get to learn and grow with other people. You may not be exactly passionate about what it is they're doing, but if it's someone you care about and you invest in the interest of their passion, you will get to learn from them. You'll get to learn from them as who they are as a human being. You'll get to learn from them on the level of their passion of whatever it might be. So, you may have a friend that's really into camping. They may be passionate about camping and hiking and just like tramping style camping where you're going out in the middle of absolute nowhere with your survival instincts and your bare necessities. And there are things that you could learn from that person on a level of survival, whether it be, oh, there's tips and tricks on how to start a fire if you have just this and this, or this is the best way to practice if you're using ferrocerium to start a fire, or here, let me show you how to tie a trowel line to make an A-frame tent set up for a temporary shelter that night, or to dig out a keyhole fire so that you can have warmth that leads right up to wherever your tent is, as well as a shove over for the coals in that fire so you can cook your meals. It's things like that. Because if people are passionate about certain things and they're close to you, they're going to share with you their experiences. They're going to share with you what it is they're doing. And now there's going to be some people out there that you and a couple other people may be the only people that they actually share that information with. Because there's either people out there that are going to be like, I'm super happy to do this, I'm going to tell the world. And then there's going to be other people that want to diligently work towards their passion, through their passion, with their passion, and just enjoy their passion independently. And they'll end up not sharing it with most people, even though they are passionate about it. And why do they do that? Why would someone do that? Well, it's because, unfortunately, we live in a world where there's going to be a lot of people out there that if they feel, especially if it's something you're working towards, right, that could truly benefit you in all aspects of your life, monetarily, financially, your relationships, and make you a successful person, people will tend to naysay about it because either it's hard to say exactly what each person feels in regard to why they would say that, but it's absolutely true. People will tell you those things, and they will tell you those things because one, either they're jealous that they don't have that same level of drive, or they don't know how to find that same level of drive, or they wish they had that same level of drive, but they don't. Two, they just want to say something to say something due to boredom, due to it's just the way they are. Or three, they just don't like you. And for one reason or another. And you can make choices if you do decide to tell the world. You can make the choice, well, you're going to have no choice but to ignore it, to let it go. But the better route would be to, maybe just enjoy your passion. Don't worry about if everyone knows what you're up to. It'll come out eventually if it's something that you're building a business towards or a career. Obviously, the people that are close to you and know you are going to know about it anyway. But just enjoy it. Just live in it. Just have freedom with it. And separate it from everything else in your life that you're doing. So if you do have a passion, get lost in it. When you're sitting there and you're doing that passion, when you're enjoying your passion, just lock into it and don't worry about what you're having to do beforehand, what you're having to do after the fact, what's going on at work tomorrow. Just enjoy it, because you need those times in your life. Because if it's something that you do enjoy truly, it's going to bring bliss to you in your life. And then if you happen to allow other things to like bleed into it, if you're worried about the workday the next day, or if you're worried about what somebody said or what somebody did or anything like that, then you're not allowing the meditation aspect of your passion to come into play. And it's gonna ruin that day for you, or it's gonna ruin that moment for you. And that could be a driver towards you setting down your passion. So don't allow it to happen. So for me, for music, what I would tend to do is I will figure out days that I'm going to do certain things, practice what I've written, write something, mix something, whatever it may be. I'll pick out the time slots. And when I have those booked, normally, I will take that time, and everything else will wait. Everything else will be on the back burner. I have, this little studio room, and I'm going to shut the door, close the door, shut out the outside world, and I've got these in, and it's very calming for me. It's very enjoyable for me. So nothing else needs to enter that space. Now, if you are working a job and that job is your passion, oh, that's absolutely wonderful. You don't have to carve out time. You know when your times are going to be. And then you just get to enjoy your day. And it's like you don't even work a day in your life. You've heard that saying, if you're doing something you enjoy, you don't work a day in your life. And if that isn't an option, if like your passion isn't a practical job, that's okay. At least find a job you don't mind. At least find a job you like. At least find a job where you are working with people that you do like. And then in your spare time, enjoy your passion, because then that it can equate to an almost equal level as if you had a life where you were working your passion. And there might be a lot of people that don't think of it that way. They might think, yeah, spending a lot of your time doing something. Well, yeah, if you're spending a lot of your time doing something that isn't your passion, it's not necessarily something that you don't enjoy. And that's the whole point. If you're absolutely miserable, it is your choice and it is your responsibility to make the change. Another thing that's important is if you don't make the change, then you almost don't have the right to complain. If you do make the change and you find something better, you will understand how much more at peace you will be. It won't keep you up at night. It'll help you become motivated more towards doing what you are passionate about if you are doing something that you're okay with. And it is okay to be content with things as well. There are some people that are absolutely content with the way everything there is, and then they just enjoy their hobbies outside of whatever it is that they do. And that's a okay world to live in for a lot of people. That's just fine. And for some people, they like what they do. Not necessarily passionate about what they do, but they are passionate about the way that they provide for their families. They do love the idea that they can take them on that vacation at the end of the year. They do love the fact that they get to feed them whole field food, good meals every night, that they have a nice home for them, that they can go to work, accomplish things, come home, enjoy a supper with their family, and sit down for a movie, family night. And that's a beautiful life to have too. And another thing about passion is when you do have, when you are a passionate person, you need to shrink your world. And what I mean by that is imagine yourself sitting in a circle and imagine a list of things that you would need to be happy. Now take that list and put it aside. Now make a list of things that you already have. Compare it with the list of things that would make you happy. There are going to be some things on that list that make you happy that you don't have. But then ignore that list and take the things that you do have and flip the script. Take those things that you do have and make a list of reasons why the things that you do have make you happy. So it was the opposite side of the coin of the list that shows you what you would want to be happy. Because then it turns the list of things that you do have into a list of things that you do have that do make you happy. Now take that list and compare it with the list that you just shoved aside. You aren't going to have very many things on that first list that you don't already have. And when you are passionate about things, you are also going to learn to be grateful for things. And being grateful for the things that you have is going to make you happy. And the more simple you make things for yourself is going to make you more happy. When your mind starts to wander and say, gee, I don't have this, I don't have that, well, you're making a comparison out of something that isn't meant to be, or at least not yet. Now, if you have this dream car of yours that you would really love to have, perfect. Dream about it. And then get to work on getting it. What will it take? Let's say it's a classic car that you would like to rebuild. Take a look at prices of stuff of cars that would need to be restored. How much more beautiful would it be for you that you restored it yourself than just went out and bought a fully restored vehicle? Well, that breaks down your goal for you, because instead of spending this amount of money on a vehicle that already exists, you can spend a little less money on something that you're going to need to restore and put money into it over time. And then you get the satisfaction of actually getting to work on it and bring it to life. And then at the end of the day, you're much more happy for what you've been able to create than what you originally had. So for a material item like that, if that's something that does make you happy, well, it's easy enough to scratch off the list because it isn't something that you absolutely need. But also, when you restored that vehicle, maybe that's your passion. Maybe when you got into that and you restored it and you saw the accomplishment, you saw the success of it, and now you get to show it off, and it's beautiful. It's this beautiful, whatever it may be, SS Chevelle or whatever it may be. And people look at it and you say, yeah, you know, I put that together and I really enjoy doing it. So out of that final list that you made, and any afterthought of what you could have in your life that would help make you happy, the point of that entire thing was to show you that, wait a minute, some of these things that I already do have and that I love in my life are my passions. Or they can create a passion from something that you already do have. So it's not always one-sided. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what it is that you are passionate about, what you think about, or what you can do to develop a passion if you don't already have one. So with that being said, I'm going to end the podcast here. It's a pretty short podcast. Some of mine end up being kind of shorter like this, just basically because you know um, there isn't quite as much content to talk about in the form of it. It's not quite research based, but if you do have any questions about this topic or any previous episode topics, you can get a hold of me at no room for comfort podcast at gmail.com. And I would love to have that conversation with you. Love to have you as a calling guest. And you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I forgot about a couple of those there at the start of this. I set up a new camera today, and I don't know if I'm quite convinced with it. The color and stuff. I saw some stuff going on my screen here. I hope it wasn't bleeding through onto the live today, but I don't know. I guess I'll see. I'll see when I go to do my edits and stuff. But I think maybe I have to put some encoder software on here or something. I guess I'm not exactly quite sure. And my light kind of got off color there too. Yeah, what do? You know, stuff like this happens in the process. But I appreciate everybody joining me here tonight, and I can't wait for the next episode. And I do want to say I want to apologize. I was supposed to have this episode obviously Wednesday. Every other Wednesday is when I have my episodes, but I was really feeling under the weather. And then I had a jam-packed schedule from when I started to feel sort of better, all the way up until today. So it was kind of short notice. Yeah, I don't know if I got to really. I'm looking at my screen here in this camera. Might be switching back. I don't know. I'll play around with it more. I'll see what comes here. But I appreciate everyone joining me, and have a good rest of your night. Thank you.